never cried the way I cried as a man to admit on this podcast that I sobbed like a baby the second I was in that meeting in that detox facility, admitting that I am addicted to alcohol.
At this point in my life, I'm really thankful every day I wake up.
I was building that Mr. Miyagi Foundation.
That's wax on, wax off. A lot of people say, like, I didn't know it was that bad. And I hit a place where it's though I finally admitted I needed help. And I admitted I had a problem. And I've never been the same since. Yeah, my new thing is like, I got something to say.
Welcome. That was Gym Therapy. Welcome. Yes, finally here, man. We got this first episode of the Gym Therapy podcast going on. This is Troy Lewis. I want to introduce you to the man, the myth, the legend coming in. So let's give you an introduction of Gym Therapy and what we're going on. So welcome to the Gym Therapy podcast, where we not only discuss healthy living and our individual collective fitness journeys, but we'll also dive deep into the discussions around what we call the Power 5 of life, where we're trying to attain fitness in all these 5 areas, which is physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and of course, financial. And our mission is to help motivate listeners to grow, change their lives holistically in the Power 5 of life. Our why? Our bond grew organically through the pandemic within Passport Fitness, where the gym helped each one of us grow in the Power 5 mentioned. Passport Fitness has become a safe place for us to talk about life and how life affects us. Passport Fitness has become more than just a therapeutic for the body. It's also become therapy for the mind, hence the name. The idea of a podcast came to fruition because we realize the impact fitness has on us, and we want to help others and share our individual stories. So tune in and continue to join us on this Gym Therapy podcast. Let's work it out. So my first guest is not only a guest, but a founding member of the Gym Therapy podcast. And this idea for this podcast sprung out of conversations that we had over the course of several years in training together, where I learned so much more about this man and realized he had an amazing story to tell. And I would tell him that all the time, like, yo, you have a great story, man. People need to hear it. So this man, as you will come to find out, is motivational, he's business-minded, he's a leader amongst men, inspirational, God-fearing, talented, an amazing father and husband. And without further ado, Michael Miller, a.k.a. Motivational Mike, Eminem. Let's get it together.
Clap it up. Motivational Mike in the building, baby. Hey.
Good. So it's interesting how life works and how certain people are put into your life for certain reasons. We met through a mutual organization. And like I remember our first conversations, which was about healthy living, keto, and everything like that. This is right around the time of you starting your fitness journey, 2018.
Absolutely.
And here we are, almost 5 years into your fitness journey, and how that one conversation that sparked this bond is now morphed into what is now Gym Therapy.
Absolutely.
So my first question to you is, who is Michael Miller?
Gee, who is that guy? He's not all that. Who is Mike Miller? I feel like, if I could say anything, I'm just a product of Baltimore City. I had a great mother, that raised me right. If a lot of people that know me know that my dad passed away when I was 5 years old. I had just turned 5. He got shot right in Baltimore City, West Baltimore, Northern Dukeland. Shot in his chest 4 times and didn't make it. The crazy part, my mother told me, in later years that I was actually supposed to go with him that day.
Right. Wow.
And he was going to the barber shop and was murdered right here in Baltimore City. Going through therapy, that kind of formed me to know, like, a lot of men during that time, even though I was 5 years old, always told me, you know, you're the man of your house and you gotta make sure you take care of your mother and your sisters. I was the only, I have 3 sisters, my mom, and it was just us, you know, us in the house. And she did an awesome job raising us, but I grew up with the mindset that I had to make sure they were taken care of.
Right.
So it's like, you're the man of the house, and you just got to be careful what you speaking to people, because sometimes they take that on. Like, I really, at 5 years old, felt like I needed to help make sure my mother and my sisters were okay.
Right.
Which is a big responsibility. You know what I mean?
The fact that you took it on, like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
I mean, I can remember, you know, my mother, she's a registered nurse, you know, so she worked them crazy shifts. I definitely remember being young. She worked at 3 to 11, and I was supposed to have been in bed,
Right.
you know, had somebody watching us, but I would sneak downstairs or sneak to her window and made sure she got from the car to walk in the house, you know, because
doing your duty as a man.
doing my duty as a man.
House.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So
A little closer.
yeah, so I just grew up with that mindset, bro. Like, I gotta make sure my mom and my sisters are good.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say my mother, you know, she'll tell you all the time, you know, she was just afraid. She got 4 kids. She don't know how to, you know, raise 4 children. So she'll tell you she gave us over to God, you know, and God helped raise us. So I hold that dear, you know. So it's like she made sure that we all had our own personal relationship with God.
Right.
That, you know, we built on. So I just love the way she raised us. And one of the biggest things that she taught me growing up was that it's your life. You know, she would say things like, I got mine.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I got my high school diploma, or I you know, this is your life. You have to make your own choices and figure out what you want for you. And that's the way I raise my kids. You know, I always teach them that this is your one life, and you got to decide what you want for your one life.
Right.
You know, so, you know, I always tell I did it the right way. You know, what we're taught to do: go to school, get a good education. Went to Baltimore City College.
There you go.
You know what I mean? City, Castle on the Hill, always collegiate. Then from there, went to Shenandoah University, majored in music business. And, you know, I thought I was going to be the next Usher. You know?
I know we'll get into some of your talents a little bit later.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, he's motivational Mike, Magic Mike for a reason. He's got a wonderful voice, and I think we'll be able to bless the people with that soon, man. Once we get this get our official intro going. So yeah, man. So now that's awesome. So gym therapy, you know, it's more than just the fitness part. We'll add that to it. People will see the workouts. We'll see how everything flows. But this is also the therapeutic part where we talk about a lot of things. But the common bond here is the fitness journey, right? So what started you on your fitness journey?
Sheesh. I was about to turn 40. And I think that was, like you said, 2018. I'm about to turn 40. And I have to be honest, like, I was in the worst shape of my life.
Right.
I'm gonna be totally transparent. I was actually scared to check my blood pressure. It was sky high. Every time I checked it, it was like 150, 160, 110. And then, so I just wouldn't check it, and I wouldn't go to the doctor. You know, how many black men, you know, we hear, I'm just not gonna go to the doctor. And I fell into that, you know, category, like, whoa, I'm not going to the doctor.
Right.
And then my wife, she had this plan with her job, whereas though she was working at the time, and they did like a total health check. And if you got a good grade, then you could get a discount on your health insurance.
There you go. Yeah.
So I went and they did everything, your pressure, your blood levels, your sugar levels, your every level.
Right.
And I failed every last one.
At 39 years old.
You know what I mean? And when I tell you, it scared it just scared me, man. I was just like, whoa. And then it was so funny at the time. It was like so many people around me were gaining illnesses. Good friend of mine got diagnosed with diabetes, high blood pressure. Another guy, he just couldn't get it down. It was like, whoa, this is about to be my life.
Right.
And I'm like, I have to do something or I'm going to die early.
Go down that same path.
Yeah. I was like, you're going to die early, Mike. You got to, sometimes you got to have those conversations with yourself. Like, yo, you know what's going on. You better do something.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was, I've always been striving for success and business and, got my bachelor's, master's degree. Always been that person that, I want to be successful. But I was like, yo, if I don't change this, it's like, what point is it you become successful financially and then you die early from physically being screwed up? Which takes us to what we're talking about. It's like so many people, we unbalanced in the 5.
Right.
So I see so many people like, all right, you getting the money right, but then you hate what you see in the mirror.
Every day.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Or you getting the money right and your mind is like off. So it's like to have that quality of life and to gain inner peace, I feel working on those 5 things. If you're not working on those things and constantly hitting them, what quality of life and inner peace will you have?
So true. So true.
So I went and got I was like, I got to change. I got to do something.
So all the levels were all over the place, like blood pressure, triglycerides,
everything.
And
I mean everything. Like I said, my pressure was like 151. I remember it, 110.
Yeah.
Geez. Hey, if you don't know, it should be 120 over 80. Like, it was like danger. Like that's what they told me, like danger zone. Like, and then it got to the point where as though I knew if I went back to the doctor, they were going to put me on medication.
So how heavy were you at your heaviest?
At my heaviest, I was at 260 pounds.
260. How tall are you?
5'9", 5'10". Right at 5'9" and a half.
Right.
A little half in there, you know what I'm saying?
Always got to add that little
add my little half, about 5'9" and a half.
I was telling on my media guy when I played ball, I was 5'11". Nowhere close.
Nowhere close.
I think I've
Why
actually
don't
got
do that?
shorter.
They say the NBA, right?
Well, it makes it look better, man. It makes the stats look better.
Yeah.
Like, this dude ain't 5'11". Sorry, I played with the heart of a giant.
Absolutely. Copper's finest.
Yeah. So now those conversations were key, man. That's kind of what initially started the bond and the discussion on keto because, I know I had been kind of dabbling in it for a while, and you started talking. You're like, yo, you kind of know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So it was good conversations there. So
that's basically where I started. So before I got to keto, I started. I don't know if people ever. I know that some people have heard of. It's called D-Herbs.
D-Herbs, yeah.
And D-Herbs was a cleanse, and I was like, whoa, maybe I'm gonna start there. I'll start there. That was 20 days. Just fruits, vegetables, and it was like raw vegetables.
And the tablets and pills and everything.
Yeah, it's like it was like you take some different tablets, and the tablets clean out different areas. So like your gallbladder, your colon, your heart, so it cleaned out pretty much everything.
Right.
So you do that for 20 days. Me and my wife did that for 20 days, and I felt amazing.
How much weight did you lose after
I lost
20 days?
In the 20 days, I lost about 20 pounds. Easy. Yeah, so I was like, I cleaned myself out, lost 20 pounds, felt amazing. But then it's the scary thing is like, that's where I feel most of us fall because it's like, okay, what are you going to do? You're going to go right back?
Right.
So for those out there, my suggestion is don't go back to what you were doing. Because the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to go right back to where you started. So my fear was like, I refuse to go back to where I started. So I'm like, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do something else. So I was like, okay, now I'm going to go to the keto, which was good because now I can add more into my diet. So I was doing the fruits and vegetables, but of course with keto, you're not going to do all them pineapples and different fruits with all the extra sugars in it. So I cut a lot of those out. Added the meat paws back in there.
Right.
So it was adding the ground beef and the salmon and the chicken and putting all that back in my diet.
Well, give a quick explanation of what keto is in the keto type diet so that people understand?
Okay, so what I understand from what I've studied and what I've learned about keto, our bodies burn basically either carbohydrates or it can burn fat.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is we've been programmed into taking in a lot of carbohydrates.
Right.
And our bodies burn carbohydrates.
Right.
Whereas though your body is not really designed to store a bunch of carbs. It doesn't hold a lot. That's why you have to restore it fast. So like if you eat some cereal in the morning, you wondering why 10 o'clock you're hungry again because your body has burned up those carbs, that sugar. So what happens is your body does though store a whole lot of fat. Okay? So what we never really sometimes get to the fat that's stored because we're burning carbs.
Right.
So what happens is if you can get to the point where as though your body is now burning fat, okay, they call that now your body enters into ketosis. So if you can cut out the carbs and get to the point where your body starts to feed off of your stored fat, that way you're getting something called ketosis. And then your body starts to burn fat.
Right.
And I'm not sitting here to tell anybody it works for everybody,
Right.
or that it's for you. Like I said, I was just looking to do the next thing.
Right. And as a disclaimer, this is just for educational purposes. This is not to diagnose anyone or have anyone make any changes. If you decide to do anything, please consult your physician first.
That is a bet.
Before
Definitely.
any changes you make regarding this.
Consult your doctor. So, but what I found, it worked great for me. Like the energy I had, and it was rough a little bit on the front end because your body is used to the sugar.
Body's craving it.
Yeah, it's craving it. And I'm going to tell you, like, that sugar, you want to know one of the worst addictions you can have is the sugar.
Oh, yeah. It's in everything that we
Right.
consume. And they hide it under different names
Yes.
that you wouldn't think.
You wouldn't think.
High fructose corn syrup, which everyone knows is. Even when people try to say, well, it's just brown. I'm using brown sugar, or it's the turbinado sugar, or it's
Cane,
honey,
hurricane, and they make it organic.
Even
so they put
dehydrated beetroot is another form of sugar. So it's different ways that they mask it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And see, what I started learning is your body becomes inflamed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's something in your body called insulin. And every time you eat, you're raising insulin. That's what insulin does. It basically, I'm not going to go deep into it, but it's calming you. It's bringing everything and all your levels back to normal. Yeah, it's bringing all your levels back to normal. So what happens is every time we eat, so that's why sometimes you hear people say eat 6 times a day, and we were taught that, like 6 times a day. So your insulin is jumping up every time, like,
throughout
whoa,
the day. Yep.
throughout the day. Like, so that's why I've done a lot of like intermittent fasting, putting that because your body is not designed. If you go back to like caveman times, they had to go and hunt for their food. So they fasted pretty much all day, you know, and they would eat when they caught food.
Right. Which wasn't every day.
Which wasn't even every day. Like some days you just didn't eat. But we've been programmed like you gotta eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's the most important meal of the day.
Right.
You know, but it's like I found that that's not true. That's not true. And again, I talked about earlier when me and you were working out, how you just got to learn to control your mind. People say, I'm just so hungry. Not really.
No,
if you
really can control it.
tap into your mind, you'll be all right. People have gone with water, just water, 40. You know, even in the Bible talks about Jesus fasted 40 days, 40 nights. It's possible.
Right.
You know, so if he did it, we can do it. He was a human. So, you know, I really started tapping into the whole keto mindset, really studying it, following people on YouTube, and really seeing the different foods. And it just gave me so much energy because you'll find that you'll be burning more fat during the day. And I started losing weight. So I end up losing like another 15, 20 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was like, now I'm down to like 220. You know, I'm like feeling great.
At the time, 220.
Yeah, 220, 260. I was up to 260, lost 40 pounds. I was feeling great. And that's when life hit.
Good old
brings us to what we talking about today. And I was able to maintain that for years. Like, it is a lifestyle. I'll say that eating that way is a lifestyle. And it's pretty much everything you can think of. There's a substitution for it or a way you can get it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and like I tell people, and like you talk about this all the time, Passport Fitness plug. You talk about it all the time, just doing things in moderation. You know, and I love that concept. You know, it's like sometimes we just go too far with things. So it's like, if I'm going to have a cheat day or a cheat meal, I don't necessarily feel crazy bad about it because I know it's like Troy tells, hey, just do it in moderation. You know, so
yeah, especially when the majority of your meals are good meals.
Yeah,
you know, having a cheat day. Yeah, everything in moderation, including moderation, I say. And
you plan them. You know, you plan them. So I was able to maintain for years. 2019, 2020, I was really vacillating back and forth between that 220, 215, get down to 210. But that was my plateau. And I was kept trying to figure out what it was. But in the back of my mind, I knew exactly what it was.
We'll get into that.
Yeah. I know exactly what it was and what was causing me not to reach that next level.
But so how has training helped change your life?
Oh,
like,
training.
Has it changed? Like, has it helped you develop more mentally to be stronger? Of course, physically, but like, is there something about the training that keeps you going and keeps you wanting to come back into the gym? Because these Passport workouts ain't for everybody. We realize that, but you keep showing up. You keep allowing me to challenge you each and every time you come in here, and I appreciate it because then I get some new ideas or I get some new techniques. I'm like, yeah, I know Mike appreciate this. So outside of that, but
I appreciate it. I mean, I do it. It's like, I love the challenge. I love the challenge that Troy brings and Passport. But where I started, I had started Shanti's Insanity so many times, but I never finished it. Like,
okay. What day did you get to?
Oh man, I would get real far. And I would get real far and then somehow I'd stop. And I was just so tired of stopping stuff. You know, start and stop. And I look at my Fitness Pal. It really hit me when I looked at my Fitness Pal. I would go back years at a time, and it was like every time I was on my Fitness Pal, I lost weight.
Right.
The minute I stopped tracking my food, and I would go back to my Fitness Pal, I would be right back at 220.
That accountability.
Yeah, so it's like
Fitness Pal's my accountability.
There it is. So it was like, bro, like, so I started with Insanity. Then I was like, okay, finished it. I finally finished it. Was looking much better. But still, I knew I needed that good training. So then I went to the gym. I got a trainer there. I got a trainer there. I've tried a couple trainers. I felt like because he was at a gym, he was getting paid to do a job and he did it. You know, we went through the book, but I didn't feel like he was teaching me to learn how to do workouts that are going to really train my body. Like, form wasn't an issue. You know, I wasn't learning. So then from there, I got with a good friend of mine. We were friends for years, Miguel, and he was phenomenal. Yeah, he was phenomenal. He used to be out of shape. We were in business together, and we both were out of shape. You know, and then he resurfaced in my life, and whoa, he was like
different person.
Yeah, just completely. And then he started this thing, you know, this group called DMV Spartans. He invited me out, and they were on it. Like, they were on it. Like, I was like amazed. Like, it was a whole group of people all focused doing the same thing, and they were all focused on getting in shape. And, you know, and then he introduced me to this place called Soldier Fit, where as though they do these boot camps early in the morning. So I was going out Gaithersburg 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. 5 o'clock in the morning. I had to be there by 5. So that means I'm leaving Baltimore at like 3:45 to make sure I get to Gaithersburg by 5, because if you're not on time, they lock the door.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's been a couple times I rode all the way out there and traffic or whatever, and I had to sit there and wait.
Like, oh no, I'm getting up in there.
Yeah. So
Banging on the door the whole workout.
Right.
Somebody
so
gonna
you
hit me.
doing that, but that, I mean, it was all the way out Gatesburg, and I knew, yes, that was cool, and I was willing to do it, and I did it for a while. Then they opened one in Columbia, but then pandemic
hit. Yeah.
Pandemic.
2020.
Gym shut down.
Yeah.
And sheesh.
Yeah. So
Gym shut down. My business shut down. Magic Minds, we have 7 locations. We're all in schools. They shut schools down.
Plug it. Yep.
Yeah, you shut schools down. We have no more business. Got a family, responsibility.
Right.
It's terrifying. And it was something I couldn't control. So I was sitting around watching people go to work. They working from home. They loving it. Ha, ha, ha. Like my wife, I retired her from her job a couple years ago. So we both, that's where our income comes from.
Right.
From the business. So it's like, hey, if I don't have this income, now we're like, whoa. So I'm a hustler. Like I'm gonna go grind.
On the way.
Yeah. So I'm back working. B. Wiley, shout out to B. Wiley from the home. I always have a home there. So I went and started working there. I just was all over the place. We have another business above it all. I was doing that, working there, where we work with young people too. So I had options, but it's still, none of it was the income I was making with Magic Minds. That was my bread and butter. So it was just a fearful time, man. It was a fearful time.
Yeah. Yeah, I was fortunate during that time. I mean, we didn't really shut down, but things slowed down. Yeah. So, I traveled a lot for work, and so that travel came to a halt, which was kind of a good thing. Get off that road and just spend some time with the family. All, day in and day out, which was good. And we kind of got used to a certain lifestyle. Everybody, with just
absolutely.
Traffic being light.
But I mean, for me, it was.
It was tough, man.
It's tough. Like I'm a type A guy. Like
you are, yeah.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm helping people. I'm doing this. I'm busy. You put me in a house, bruh. Like some people, I know that's great for. Right. They introverted. I'm nah.
Yeah.
You gotta have me out, man. I gotta be doing stuff. I gotta be grinding. So to shut me down, it was kind of like I looked at it like a blizzard. It was like, okay, it was cute the first week. You know what I'm saying? It's like
that cabin fever kicking in.
Yeah, I got caught up on all the
shows.
Yeah,
Netflix.
I'm watching Netflix. I'm watching everything. Ozark and Money Heist. That was one of my favorites.
All the good ones.
Oh yeah, I'm getting caught up, baby. And then it was just like, okay, now what?
Right.
And instead of me chilling and trusting God and really just enjoying that time with my family and really just understanding that was a period to do that.
Right.
I panicked.
Right.
I panicked.
Like, because you used to being in control. That control was taken away from you. And
totally.
Yeah.
I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't do anything. I cannot open schools.
Right.
So it's like that was, and I've failed, and had a lot of failure in another business. And had a business in financial services, had some great success in it, reached the top level in that business, and then I just had some big time failure in it.
Yeah.
And I was at a crossroads where I could either build that back up or do Magic Minds, and I chose to do Magic Minds, and it became successful again.
Yes, sir.
So it's like, all right, I had that failure. I know what that feels like. Me and my wife hit rock bottom with that. We lost the house. We filed bankruptcy. So I started over, and I know what that feels like. So now here you go with this pandemic, and you try and tell me, God, I'm gonna have to start over again. I'm about to lose another successful business.
Right.
What? No. I was like, I can't. And listen to myself saying that. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, I can't. But I was just like, I can't do it again. I don't want to build another business from scratch. I've done that twice now. I know the work, and I was willing to do it every time. So God, like, what are we doing here? It's like I start blaming God. I was mad. I was angry.
Why me, right?
Why me? You know, one of my favorite books, Traveler's Gift. Everybody knows this by Andy Andrews. Shout out to Andy Andrews. If you're listening, he gonna listen one day.
As much as you shout it out.
Yeah. So anybody that knows me knows it's my favorite book. And one of the first decisions in there, he talks about, you know, the buck stops here.
Buck stops here.
And I told so many people that, but for the first time, I wasn't taking my own advice.
Right.
And I've always been that person that gives and does for everybody. And this was the first time in my life I felt by myself. I felt alone because it's like sometimes when you do so much for everybody, you don't take care of yourself.
So what did you turn to? Like, what became your vices during that time? I know we all had different vices that we did during the pandemic to kind of help get us through. So what was that for you?
So for me, since college, I've always been a heavy drinker. And it's not like I was drinking every day, but if we had a party, you know, Mike is getting tore up. They know, like,
life of the party.
Oh,
right?
man, he's going to have us cracking up. He's going to have us laughing.
Dancing.
Yeah. He's going to cut up. I mean, literally in college, I didn't have to pay for alcohol because everybody made sure, what is Mike drinking? I'm going to make sure he has his drink of choice, because once he gets going, you know, anybody know me, I'm a Martin fan.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was my show. I got put out of many classes mocking him. So it was like, you know, I'm coming into class. You know, hitting my row. And teacher like, get out.
We're not doing this today.
We're not doing this today, Michael. And I'm getting put out every class. So, I would, you know, people made sure I had my alcohol of choice. And they knew they were going to laugh all night. And it kind of followed me. You know, I didn't realize this, but going through some therapy, I realized, like, whoa, I became that guy where people expected you to put on a show.
Right.
You know, down to some of my closest friends, it's like, it's not intentional. It's just that you become that guy. Right. You become, this is the funny guy. You know, I had somebody say this, like, yo, I didn't know you were funny without alcohol. Like, it's like, yo, Mike, you're still funny. Dang, you associated me just with alcohol, right? It was funny. Like, hey, you're actually still fun to be around. You know, it's just like, so I just was drinking. Like, that became my vice. It felt good. I'm not going to be one of the people. No, I loved it. Right. I loved the feeling. I loved the way it made me feel. And it kept, you know, the older I got, going through different trials and tribulations, it just became the thing. You know, so the pandemic hits. And ladies and gentlemen, it hit the fan.
Hard, huh?
Yes, sir. It started funny. Like, everybody was having happy hours every day.
The virtual happy hours.
Yeah, the DJs were playing. We was having parties.
D-Nice was on.
Oh, man. I'm bourbon on deck. Red cup. You know what I mean? Red cup boys. I'm all ready for it. Red cups everywhere. I'm drinking every day. And it was cute. Like I said, it was a blizzard. But it was a blizzard that never ended. Kept going. Mike is still drinking. And it got bad.
Right.
I was drinking every day, all day. And I didn't realize it. And then I looked up and I was just like a full-blown drunk.
Yeah, I remember our escapade out to, I guess, the first Spartan race we did together, because it was kind of like I surprised you, like, yo, I'm gonna do the Spartan race.
No, but before we get to that, yeah, like, go back. Like, this is where you came into play.
Nah.
During the pandemic,
right?
You say to all of us, like, hey, look, I made a gym in my garage.
Right.
I'm like, cool, you know, but I'm still working out.
Right.
So even though I'm drunk out of my mind most days, I'm still working out. I'm still getting it in. So I'm managing to maintain my weight, but that's why I'm playing total and not hitting any more gains and not getting to where I want to be, because I would have binges. Yeah. Yep. So I'm like binging, like, and the alcohol puts weight on you. You know, so I was drinking, and then you call like, hey, yo, why don't you come?
Yeah, come work out.
Work out.
Yeah, I had a couple people coming through already. You know, it was like, why not? Come through and get some work in, man. I was trying to sharpen my, my skills with this training thing at the time a couple years ago, and it's like, all right, it's a good way for the brothers to kind of get together. It's in a positive manner. Plus, I've always been about the health thing, so if I could share that with other people, that's where it kind of came into play. So it was like, I was glad you joined in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't know, to what extent it was, but I was placed in your life, I think, for a reason.
Definitely.
During that time frame.
Definitely. And I mean, we were going through in here, and but I was learning so much. Like with Passport Fitness, like one of the things I just looked up to you and respected you so much because I was watching you invest in yourself. So to see you traveling to go do trainings and traveling to go learn more, and I mean to see what you were paying for these trainings and for these different trainings you were going to, it was like impressive to me. I had never had anybody training me that was like investing in themselves that much, and I could see it. So I know one of the first things I was impressed with was when we started training, like, Troy, we wasn't really working out the way I felt. I was like, why are we not working for real? And you just had us working on form. And I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, I mean, we just coming in and doing squats, but you would be like,
everything was
no
body
weight, body weight, do it like this, do it again.
Looking at the angles,
looking at
making
your
sure
angles. I'm
are
like,
right.
this guy's about that detail, man. So I was just like, what is this at first? And then it was just like, the more we kept working, and we would be sweating bullets though. Just doing that.
I was building that Mr. Miyagi Foundation.
That's wax on, wax off.
So when everything started coming together, then it became that choreography that everyone's
but
like, yo, what
I
is
swear
this?
it was like some old straight up like Karate Kids type stuff.
Man,
I'm like, yo,
come on.
I can do karate. So when we finally start putting some weight with it, I was like, oh, form is that important. And I mean, I hear you say a lot about how functionality is everything. So it's like the older you get, picking up your grandchild. And, I keep that in my mind when you say that all the time. Like, oh, so even picking up every weight, like we were working a day and I'm constantly focused on that posture.
Bracing correctly.
Yeah, so form is so important at Passport that it became such a big part of me. And I was just like, I respect that. And like I said, the fact that you went to all of those different trainings, people that's, trained for Donovan Mitchell and all of these big time.
Shout out to DBC.
DBC, that's right, DBC.
They have a great training program down there. They focus on biomechanics and human movement. And it's taken my training to the next level. I initially got trained and certified through NASM, which is the National Academy of Sports Medicine. But when I went to DBC, and I was following them years ago. I was like, yo,
they on it.
They had LeBron James, they had D Wade, ton of football players, Xavier Howard, and when you go into the facility, he has all of these, all the jerseys up of players that they've trained, signed, and everything. And they put out a great product. I mean, it speaks for itself. And they go into these facilities and they're able to, get these people out of back pain, knee pain, shoulder pain through proper biomechanics. And so I take to that and my science background, I was like, yo, this is perfect. Let me do something I love in the training, but also add the science piece and what I'm passionate about in different areas. So yeah, man, I'm glad it's helping people. And that's my whole, I think that's part of my purpose and my journey right now is to continue to help people through this fitness thing, man, and be a servant to people in that manner. So,
and then, I mean, you would come back.
Oh, y'all
every time it was just like, yo, he going to Miami again.
Coming back with that Miami
heat. I say, you on that D Wade again, yo. You on that Bron. He coming back with that heat. And then
grab my little spray.
Right. And we knew we was going to be the guinea pigs. He trying all this stuff. He learned. And I was just like, I was just learning so much and I was getting in such great shape. But then again, I wasn't. Because you didn't know the secret I was keeping, that I was leaving here or coming here
There was one time they were like, "Yo,
You
what
good?
I got something for you."
Yeah.
That's when we hit that hill.
Oh man, yeah, because I had started doing some personal sessions other than the
group
sessions, and
yeah.
I was drunk one night and missed
One morning.
One morning, I
yeah.
was drunk the night I meant. I was drunk, and I think I did stop drinking till like 1, 2 o'clock, and
That's
jumped
right. You
up.
came in here late.
Yeah.
Like, yo,
What's
what
up?
you doing? Like, oh, you still
I'll
drunk.
never forget that day. You took me to some hill that I tell you I don't know where it was. I know it was by your house, but I couldn't tell you where it is.
Yeah, I call it that forget your time, Troy Hill. Like
Yes.
I was just a couple times. It just on some like, oh, forget
Yeah,
your
you
time. Coming in
disrespect
late.
my time.
Okay, I got something for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, threw the weight vest on you. Was doing bear crawls up the hill.
Yeah.
Jog sprint. Yeah.
And I was tore up. Like I was drunk. I was like, drunk. In bright morning. 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And it just kept getting worse, man. It kept getting worse. So this was like June of last year, July. It was like July. When did we do the Spartan race?
July was that time. Like
It was
towards the end of
July. I thank Miguel again. That's where I got introduced to the Spartan races, which are so challenging. And I had done a couple already, told you guys about it. Everybody was excited to do it. But then we got to that super
Oh yeah,
in Palmerton.
that 10K.
10K one, and it was a good amount that was supposed to do it, but got to the time and it was just me. And you were like still going back and forth. And I was like, Troy, I'm just gonna go by myself.
Right.
And I never forget it. The day before the race, you called me and was like, I'm going.
Yep.
And I was like, my God.
I couldn't let you go out like that, man. You've been training by yourself all this time. Well, not training by yourself, training for it this time frame. I was like, yo, I can't have him go by himself.
Yeah, and I was training heavy. So then I would so during this time I would like have spurts. So I would go off, stop drinking a little bit, and then I would come back, stop drinking a little bit, come back. So I was getting gains and having some success. And then it was just like I was still in have them binges.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like having major binges, like drinking 3 and 4 days straight, like sleeping.
Hiding stuff in the car.
Yeah, start hiding stuff in the car from my wife. I was hiding bottles under the bed, Troy. Like, it got so bad at one point. And people was like, Mike, I never knew it was that bad. Like, of course, you wouldn't, because I'm not going to show that. I'm not going to show you that I'm out here wilding. And then I knew I was at another low when I was sitting outside the liquor store waiting for it to open.
Damn.
I knew the times, and then what you do is you play mind games. So you buy shorties,
right?
So I'm just getting a shorty,
just get a little bit,
just get a little taste, get a little. Then you go back and you get paid.
Another shorty,
Yeah,
or
you
get the
half
pint.
paid. You go at the galley. You know what I'm saying? And I just got bottles everywhere. I'm hiding bottles. My wife's finding them. She's like, at this point, totally afraid.
Yeah.
I'm driving drunk. Grace of God, I never got a DUI. I was driving drunk for years. And I'm not proud of that. That is the worst. But would get home, and my main goal was always just to make it home.
Right.
So I would make it home, and I'd fall asleep in the car. So Crystal was waking up, like, coming to get me out the car. It just got bad, man. Sometimes I'm gonna just be transparent with y'all. Urinating on myself. It was just like, it's terrible.
It's bad.
Yeah, it was bad. It got bad. It was just like, but to me, I'm Mike Miller.
Right.
Yo, do you know who I am? That's the way I think of myself. So it's like, I beat this. It's nothing. I beat everything. I defeat everything. I'm successful. Right. I'm great. I've read all the books. I'm listening to the right people. I understand. I seek wisdom. This is alcohol. This is nothing.
Right.
I can shake this thing. And then Spartan race came up.
Ooh.
And I was terrified of the race. That's what it was. I was scared to do the race.
Like it seemed like things would pop up around that time frame.
Yeah.
Like you were preparing yourself for these big moments with the Spartan races, and that's when I would notice that you kind of dive heavy into the alcohol a little bit more.
Yes.
And interesting to know that that's the reason you were scared of it.
Yeah, I was like, yo. And I knew I wasn't right. I knew I was drinking like crazy. So now we like vets at the Spartans. So it's you could be on that mountain and lose your life.
That mountain's no joke.
It's not a game. Like, yo, you really can fall off that joint. You can hurt yourself. You can cause some real damage to yourself if you're not being safe. And I knew I wasn't being safe.
Right.
So I never forget that day I came to your house for us to leave for the race.
Yeah.
And I came early. I was sitting outside in the car and I was drinking some Crown Apple.
The Crown.
I had the Crown Apple, drinking it straight.
Yeah.
Getting it in. And then finally, I don't know if you came to the car and got me out the car or I came in the house.
I think I like definitely opened the door to let you know, like, whenever you're ready, come in.
Yeah.
And I remember you coming in and you was bent.
I was bent.
You was bent.
On another level bent. I think I had been drinking like all night.
Yeah, you'd even opened up to me at that point. It's like, yo, I'm not in a good place right now. Like, yo, I'm
That's the first time me and you
up.
talked. I told you. And you was like, yo, it wasn't nothing you could say for me because I wasn't understanding nothing. I was so tore up. I needed to sleep.
Yeah, you just lay it out on the couch.
So I laid on the couch. And I remember
like,
Tyler was rubbing my head. You okay, Mr. Mike?
Mr. Mike,
You okay?
you all right?
Wifey was in there checking. She come in, look. He all right. And then we left.
I even reached out to Wiley, man. I reached out to Wiley, like, yo, just wanted to see if I can get some more insight. Like, yo, what's going on with Mike? And, he kind of explained, like, yeah, man, we've been trying to get him help. And he just hasn't been ready for it. He's like, man, whenever he's ready, he'll make it work.
Yeah.
So at that point, for me, it was just a matter of just trying to be there for you, just to make sure that you knew you had somebody in your corner through this. I know it's not an easy fight. My dad had some issues with alcohol.
And my dad did too.
Yeah, so I'm sure that contributed to things.
Yeah,
relationships not working.
And I didn't even know that that's important too. Like when it runs in your family, like that genetically, like you can really have that gene, or is like you just react different to it.
Right.
His sister, my dad's sister, passed away from it. He definitely had addictions, and so I never put that together. Grandparents on both sides struggle with it. So I had that gene in me. It's like, yeah, you can be that guy. But again, in my mind, I'm still thinking, it's me.
Right.
I can beat this. Nah, it's nothing.
Yeah, whenever I'm ready, I'll not quit this.
Yeah, I'll quit.
Yeah.
And then we left, and me and you, the whole time I slept going up there, and I remember getting the next day we had to go race.
Laughing because it's just hard to fathom. Like, yo, you were that inebriated and still did the race.
So
that's just a testament there, just like your willpower and what you're willing to do. Because a lot of people would have just tapped out at that point and been like, yo, I ain't doing that race.
So it's like people don't understand it's 10K, so that's like 6 miles. But Palmerton is a monster if you don't know. It's like...
Yeah, and Spartan miles are not your regular miles either.
Right.
So what's supposed to be 6?
It'll be like 8, 9 miles.
Exactly.
And then it's up a mountain. So you're on like the ski slopes. So I never forget, you were taping us. And we started going up that mountain. And I knew this was not going to be good.
You know you done messed up, right?
Yeah.
You know you done messed up, right?
I said, what have you done?
Yeah, and I was trying to stick with you, man, for part of it. It was like, all right.
No, but I was good. Like, I had sobered up by then, but I knew my body was like going, I was like, Troy, go.
Yeah.
And just go. Because the only way I had to walk it. I had to walk it off. Like I had to get through the race. So I didn't complete a lot of the obstacles. My goal, all I could do was just, Mike, you have to get to the end of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get home to your family. You got to finish this thing. You got to get to the end. So I just made sure I finished it.
Right.
You know, and then man, you went to eat.
Yep. Went to eat afterwards. Nice little.
And I was in
steakhouse.
such a bad place. I couldn't even eat unless I was drinking. Like you was like, remember I ordered the food. We got steak. I'm barely. You like you ain't hungry. Like,
Right.
and that's when I was just start opening up to you like more and more. Like Troy, it's hard for me to even put food down at this
Right.
point. And you were like, bro, I'm here. You know, take it one day at a time.
That's
you
it.
know, you gave me. I mean, it was just like, whoa, like somebody. But you never did it in a way where it made me feel like you was judging me.
Yeah.
You know, just like, you here. I'm here. You need me, bro. You know, maybe time to make some decisions. You know, cut back. See if you can cut back. If not, you know, let's get the help you need.
Right.
And it was kind of like that. We left it there.
Yeah.
And then we came back. I called myself chilling. And I chilled for a minute.
Right.
Good. And I never forget, me and my wife went to Bahamas in August.
I remember that. Yeah. Because August is your month for you to dip out, get low. You take the whole month of August
take
off.
month,
Yeah. Family
vacations, family, we going away. So I did all the family vacations, and wifey thought I was good on the vacations. She thought like if I would leave, like massages became good for me.
Yeah.
A way to
Okay, Deshaun Watson.
yeah. Yeah. You know, to release some stress. So I would go get massages. She thought I was going to drink, but I really wasn't.
Okay.
I was just getting massages because that was something I could do for self-care to take my mind off the alcohol.
Yeah.
But I still hadn't yet admitted that I was an alcoholic. So then we went to the Bahamas, and I wasn't drinking. It started with, yeah, I'm gonna have a drink every night. We go to the bar after the day, whatever we did, and I would have a drink. She like, all right, babe, you good? You know, she kept trying to, you know, and I love my wife. When I had to shout her out right now, Crystal Miller, I love you. I thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I tell you, I got a ride or die that's willing to be there, and she was there the whole time. So she watched me struggle for years with this. And I mean years. So it's like, you can hide from a lot of people,
Right.
but you ain't hiding from your household.
Oh, no.
So my wife and my kids knew exactly what I was and who I was. So yeah, you out here in the streets, and everybody know Motivational Mike Miller.
Oh, you the man in the street.
Yeah. You come home, nigga. You know, we know you down basement getting it in. So, yeah. So that, you know, we went on a trip, and I never forget. I was gambling, and I do it for fun.
Right.
But I was winning. I had the whole. I was at the crack table. Had the whole.
My fine.
I'm like, say Baltimore, they screaming, feed more, feed more. They winning all this money. So they like, yeah. And the lady asked me that I want to drink. And I was like, and this in the middle of the day. So this like 1 o'clock. So me and Crystal was supposed to go eat at 7.
Right.
This in the middle of the day, I'm getting it. I'm up so much money. Hundreds of dollars I'm winning at this point.
Right.
And she brings me a Hennessy. And then next thing I know, she just kept bringing them. And I just kept drinking them. Winning. I'm up big. I got to go upstairs. I am bent. I am tore up. Like tore up. So all I remember is I went upstairs. I laid on the bed. We were supposed to go eat at 7.
Right.
I didn't wake up to the next day for us to leave. We had to go catch a plane home.
Out of it.
Out of it. So Chris is just looking at me. She's not talking. That's the way I can always tell I blew it. You know, your wife is something else. You know, so she giving me no eye contact, no talking, no conversations. I'm like, I did it again. I blew it. And then that was August. So now you're getting through September. We start back school. Program opens back up. We get another location.
Nice.
Another 1 or 2 locations. So now I'm like Black Eyed Peas, take away my anxiety. It's like, yo, at this point, Troy, I can't control 7 locations.
Right.
And I know we don't have the system in place to control it. So I'm just terrified because every day I got to worry about other people running our business.
Right.
And are they going to run it the way I would run it and take care of it the way I would take care of it?
Exactly.
I can't be in 7 locations at one time. And we were looking for a supervisor, so I had to run one location. So it was so bad, like I was trying to monitor being sober and drunk in between. You see what I'm saying? So like I would go, make sure I'm good, go to the site, leave, go home, have a drink, and take a nap so I could be ready to go back.
Functioning.
Became a good one. You know, so it was like, and it got worse. It got worse and worse and worse. And then we had like something tragic happen in the business. Somebody tried to accuse me of something that I know I didn't do, but then again, it didn't matter. It was God's way of showing me, and I just panicked. You know, I panicked, and I never forget it. That morning, I was just drinking. And when I got the call, like, yeah, somebody said this or said this about you, and I'm like, what? And then I just started drinking more and more and more. So then Crystal came and was like, you cannot go. That day I was I couldn't go. Like I had gotten tore up.
Out of it.
Yeah, I was out of it. And that was the day. My mother came, my aunt came. It was just a mess, crying, upset. But it was way more about the anxiety and the way I was feeling inside. Like, I was terrified. You know, it was like, this business can't fail. This is all we got. This is how we eat. This is my wife. This is my kids. Like, and it was just like so much happening at the time. And it was just like, I kept going back to the first business fail and this can't happen again. And it was just like, I don't know what to do.
So was it a mix of like anxiety setting in and depression, or was it all anxiety at that point?
Anxiety and depression. Like I am at a low. And it wasn't that, you know, we had money. God sustained us through the whole pandemic.
Right.
We never struggled. Like I didn't even use money I had saved. Like we were great.
Right.
So it was just the alcohol got so bad. That was the problem. You know,
probably creating the anxiety.
I'm creating it. Like you don't have no real issues. Like God had us the whole time.
Right.
Like coming out of the pandemic, we were in a much better position. I was not ready. I was in a bad position at that time.
Right.
And I couldn't shake this alcohol. I thought I had it, but I couldn't shake it at all. And
terrifying.
That was the day. My mom came, my aunt came, I'll never forget it. And one of my father figures, Al Wiley, he had already saw it in me. So he had spoke to a gentleman, and I'm not going to, give his name, but that lived up the street from us. And he was like, he actually worked at a facility and was like, if you ever ready, let me know.
Right.
He was an addict, and he was like, you ever ready, let me know. I can help. And I was heated. What? Like, you good? And I'm like, am I good? What are you talking about?
Right.
Well, I mean, somebody told me, who? So I'm like, nah.
Now you mad at who told
I'm mad at Al. I'm mad at everybody. Like, and they just trying to help.
That's all it is.
My man Charles, he was trying to help. And he was like, Mike, if you ever ready, let me know.
Right.
So that day, my mother looked at me and she was like, you ready? And I was like, yeah.
You were ready.
I was ready.
And That was actually, again, in conjunction, we're close to another Spartan race.
The exact day.
Late September, early October.
That was October the 1st.
Yeah, because we had been training for the Spartan race. We were doing every Saturday morning.
Every Saturday. We was training
We
hard.
had brothers driving up from, PG County area.
Yes, King coming up.
6 o'clock, 5 o'clock
5 o'clock in the morning. We're outside getting it in.
Getting it in at the
We were
car.
grinding. I was so prepared for that race.
Oh, yeah.
So prepared. I was ready, but I wasn't.
And but Jamal was looking for, he was supposed to ride with you. He's like, yo, anybody talk to Mike? And I didn't want to tell the business about anything at that time. So I was like, yeah, I said, Mike's all right, man. I said, he's going through some things. I said, he's all right. So I wanted that to be your story to tell people about what was going on. But yeah, I was just thinking like, yeah, what's always around these Spartan races, man? What's going on? So I was just thinking maybe you're just nervous again. But when you told me, I was like, okay. Yeah.
You were the only person I had time to call.
Now's the time. Yeah.
Crystal is driving me to the detox facility.
Right.
The rehab. Like, I'm on my way. And in my mind, I'm still like, what am I doing and where am I going? I got a race to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you talk about that will. Like, my will is just like, yo, I am going to do this race. Mind you, that's the beast. Mm-hmm. So it's just the next level. So now you go from a 10K to a what? 21K.
Yeah.
So it's like, now it's like, it's another level. Mm-hmm. So every time it's like, yo, you put yourself to this next level and you know you're drunk. You know you're alcoholic. So it's like, the fear, it really was fear. Like, so I would use the alcohol to try to get myself through.
Right.
But at this point, I'm at a bad place. So we're driving to the facility. They get ready to take my phone. Mm-hmm. I call you like, Troy, I'm getting help.
Yeah.
I'm going in. I'm checking in right now. I can't call nobody. They're going to take my phone. And they took my phone. I was in there for a week. And it was hands down the best and craziest. I mean, to this day, I felt like I was in a dream. Like, one, I couldn't believe I was there. I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, let me out of here. And you can leave at any time. They can't hold you there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. They can't hold you there. Like, you can really leave. So I'm like, yo, I'm going to get out of here. I got to go do a Spartan race. What are we talking about here? So I start thinking about y'all. I'm thinking about everybody going to be looking for me. I'm the one that started this stuff. Like, got everybody psyched to go through this race, and you're not here. Right. Where is Michael Miller? So I know, like, everybody's like, where's Mike? Where's Mike? Mike not posting this race. He usually posts this race. We haven't seen anything. Mike in there tore up.
Mike was getting his life together.
Yeah. So I spent a week in a detox facility, and hands down, like I said, the biggest thing for me, Troy, was the fact, once I accepted, the reality hit, like, this is who I am. And my life changed forever.
Yeah.
I have not had a craving for alcohol since that moment.
Yeah, which brings us to this, and which is why I wanted this to be like our first official podcast episode, because October is a significant year because it marks the 1 year anniversary.
Yeah. Let's get some baby. Son, we made it. So yeah, October 1st, I remember it. I thought it was the second, but it wasn't the second. The second was the race. I checked in on the first, that Friday, which was the day, my last day I had. That was my first day sober.
Yo, that's awesome.
So we've made it a year.
Brother. Yes, sir.
And I mean, July, I went and did that race again.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Well, I didn't forget, but
yeah,
you went back and
it was just like one of those times again. Nobody was available to go, and I was like, babe, can you go with me? I'm going to do this. I've prepared. You train me. I'm like, Troy, I'm going to do it. You had me going around the block with, you know what I mean, kettlebells, 80-pound kettlebells,
sandbags.
I'm like, Troy, to me, Troy, it was, I had to complete that for myself. It was like a stamp that I've conquered this thing. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I know people, I know it's a daily walk. And trust me, that's what God was trying to show me. If anybody wants to know, God had to show me, and I had to be knocked down that, guess what, Michael Miller? You need me. You think you can do everything on your own. You so powerful and mighty in your mind. And no, what about me? What about God in your life? Understand that I lead you. You can't do nothing without me. And so every day I wake up, I have to be reminded. Are you want to take a drink today? You could.
Right.
But I know I have to depend on God for that strength to say no today.
Right.
So that gives me grace every day knowing that I could drink today, but I choose not to today. And I know God is with me. So now it's like it put him back at the head of my life. Because sometimes we think we running it. Right. And God put you in a reprobate mind, like, okay, you go over there. You know what I'm saying? He said, I ain't black, I'm OJ. Okay. Yeah. You know that. So it's like, once I realized oh God, I'm sorry. I edged you out.
Right.
In my ego, you know, so it's like every day I wake up now, it's like I'm writing in my journal. I learned that in the detox facility. And being an outpatient is like you're going to these different meetings. And I picked up journal writing, and daily I'm writing in there the way I feel. That really helped get that anxiety out, the things that I'm worried about or afraid. I get it out, write it out, you know what I mean? And working out every day, you know, getting those still dopamines, I realize, you know,
key.
Yeah, it's the key. And it's like, now take shots of espresso as opposed to shots of bourbon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's still that day-to-day of taking one day at a time, one step at a time, because that's important, man.
And that sounds so cliche. You hear that, like, hey, one day at a time, but it is the actual truth. Like, once I'm like, yeah, we're gonna take it one day at a time.
I just hear about your strength on, like, recently, just trips you've taken, opportunities where you really could have done it and nobody would have found out. Nobody would have been none the wiser. And but it was something key that you said. It was like, yo, I'd have to live with it myself. I could hide it from you all, but I can't hide it from myself. I can't hide it from God.
And accountability is the highest form of maturity. I say that all the time. Yep, accountability is the highest form of maturity. And I say that all the time. Like, I just went to a wedding, one of my line brothers in DR, Dominican Republic, and we had a villa down there, you know, restaurants everywhere, all inclusive.
You know what that means.
And it just brought me back. Like, I used to get so psyched for all inclusive. Like, yo, oh, let me get my drink on. You know, I'm drinking all day. You know, I'm on vacation, I'm drinking. And I drink virgin coladas and tropical sunrises, all virgin.
You said they were excited to make drinks for you.
Yeah. That was like, I was surprised. Like, that I was like, mocktail. When you got a mocktail, they were like, oh, I got you. You know, it was like, I guess they so used to everybody just drinking. They were like excited to make me a drink that didn't have alcohol. And it was like, I felt so good to be able to say, like, no alcohol, or I don't drink, or I'm good, you know. And, you know, you get the people that look at you like, Mike Miller, you know, you all right?
Yeah, so
you know?
used to you being
Yeah. So it's just, you know, it's all transition. I mean, family, friends, you know, it gets weird sometimes. People don't know necessarily how to act around you now. They used to you being this guy. And it's just like, once people saw like, oh, he's still the same guy. We still gonna have a great time with him. You know, it's like, he's just not going to be drinking. And it's like, you always have those friends where it's like, I don't drink, you know, but they still can have a good time. So it just was a transition and learning how to live with this disease that, yo, you can overcome this. You can, you know, but like you said, it's still one day at a time.
Still one day at a time.
It's still, so I know it's like something that I can always fall back into, but that's the greatness of it. Because then that's when I get my power from God.
Nice.
That's when I lean straight to that. Like, you know, it was times I'm sitting at the bar by myself. Like, God, I need you now. You know? You know, it's just like the thought, just the thought, but I know it starts with the thought. Once you get the thought, sometimes that's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
That's because now the action is coming next. You know, so it was like I was able to overcome the thoughts. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there, overcome your thoughts, because thoughts are things and thoughts become reality, and you don't want it to become a reality. So I was definitely proud of myself that I was able to take that trip and not have a drink. And I, like you said, by myself.
Right.
I spent the whole day by myself.
Right. Easily could have just
Easily.
Yeah.
It could have got trash face.
trash, sobered up.
Sobered up.
Nobody
I'm
would
good.
know.
Nobody would have known.
But you.
It felt great. And at this point, I'm so afraid to see what I would look like. Because they say you gotta be careful because you can go back worse.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it to me at this point. You know?
Yeah.
But again, I'm never gonna get to the point where as though I'm not gonna wake up every day and ask God for grace to make it and not have a drink today.
Nice. Yeah, we're gonna take a quick little break real quick. I'm trying to warm this thing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. All right, so we're back on. Man, that was an incredible segment. Just learned a little bit about your life and things you've been going through, and especially, like I said, just your journey along the way with fitness and everything. But like just hearing you overcome, you know, the alcoholism, and I know it's a day-to-day fight, but I definitely admire you for just 1 year is big. Like I have a lot of friends and buddies who have been dealing with alcohol, and I'm hoping that they can get to that point that they take that next step to get the help that they really need, because, you know, I see how it's changed your life. I see, you know, how just much more of a lively person you are. I mean, you've always been lively, but just you're so focused on family, so focused on the business, and now just so focused on helping other brothers get to where you are. And when we talk about that Power 5, you're in your physical now. Yeah. Financial, been there. Yep. Still there. Yeah. The emotional piece, the spiritual piece. Yeah. You know.
And mentally, I even
mental piece.
Did some therapy.
Yeah.
That really helped me. And then she was just trying to get me to let alcohol go back in the day when I did it. So I was like, nah, I'm gonna go ahead and holler at you on the next one. But she helped me. That's why I did start with my mom and my sisters, like being that man of the house. She helped me get to that, understanding it's a lot more to that.
Right.
That I always feel I got to take care of everybody and make sure everybody else is good, that I lack self-care. And that's why I self-destructed. Because, you know, if you're not taking care of yourself, so what happened is it's like you become malnourished. Right. So I'm like giving so much of me to everybody. You know, you good, what you need. Giving money over here. I'm giving conversation over here. So I'm taking in everybody's problem. So everybody would call Mike Miller. Right. You know, yeah, and she cheated on me, and then he cheated on me, and then, you know, I'm taking all of this stuff, you know, and
filling your cup up.
Yeah, and I'm not, you know, definitely shout out to my pastor, Bishop Nelson, like always feeding me spiritually, you know, but it's just like I became so malnourished mentally in so many different areas, and it was just like I needed to just replenish. Right. Because I had poured everything out, you know, and it was just like the alcohol just became a savior. Like,
it's tough, man.
Yeah, I could just zone out here. Like, I don't got to worry about your problems, nobody's problems. Yeah, and it was like even going through the people calling. And I just love my circle, like you know, my brothers, Brandon, James, Nandi, you know, Paul, Mike Johnson, like David, my core, Yana, you know, it's like they can feel it. My family, like my mother, my sisters, Kid Kelly, Shonda, Janice, Aunt Curl, Tosh. It came to the house like intervention style. I was like, whoa, like what's going on here? I'm like, what y'all doing here? Then I figured out like, oh, they here for you. You know, they just love doing me, you know, let me know that they're here. And this before I went into the facility, and it was just like, you know, it's just like my circle, my immediate circle was there. And it's like when I was going through, they could tell like something was wrong. Like they were calling. My immediate people that know me to the core, I swear to God, Troy was just like, all of them felt something. Like I was getting Josh, you know, I'm just trying to name everybody that was really like there. They were like, you good? You know, like.
They could sense something.
Yeah, they could sense something was off. Like, yo, you all right? I'm just checking something. It was just like God was like revealing. Like I had, my man Josh called me like, yo, something ain't right. It was like B. Wiley, Brandon was like on his trip. They were away actually.
Right.
My solid core brothers like Jamie, Sananda, Brandon. They were just like, Mike ain't post no pics about the race. And it's just like to know you're loved in that manner is like, yo, people are checking for you, making sure you're okay. And they were like, yo, something ain't right, And I know he called you and was like, yo, where Mike at? Right. And then he called my wife just to find out what was going on. But, a lot of people say like, I didn't know it was that bad. It was like, nah,
I didn't know either. I mean, until we had
the conversation. Yeah.
But yeah, prior to that, I had people telling me like, yo, Mike drink. I'm like, you hit it well for me.
Yeah.
Like, or not just for me, but just when I seen you.
From a lot of people. From a lot of people.
So,
yeah.
So, definitely glad you got the help. And so what is your mission and your purpose now with, your newfound sobriety, health and everything? What is it that you want to give to people and provide to people through this podcast and through everything else?
Yeah, my new thing is like, I got something to say.
Right.
I got something to say now.
Straightforward.
It's just like, I have gone through some things, gone through a lot of failure, reached some successful levels. I feel like I went to school, did it the right way, went to college, got a good education, got my master's degree. I had a career as a teacher, left that, started a business in financial services, went straight type A, jumped into it, took the risk, even with a family, hit rock bottom, had some great success there, lost that, started another business. I'm that guy. And it's like, you hear that people say all the time, you only needed to work one time. Right. It's like, you can fail 50 million times, but you only need one thing to work, and thank God between Magic Minds, above it all, the businesses I'm a part of right now, they're working, and it's like, God is blessing. I'm so thankful that, Magic Minds, we're up to 7 locations now.
Nice.
Definitely within the next year, looking to have about 10, I write my goals every day. I just do so many things that make me who I am that I want to share it now. Because I know if people can apply some of these things that I've learned and hear some of my stories and hear my failures, I feel like I've done it any way you can think of doing it. Like I went to college, I went to school, I started a business. It's like I failed here, I've won here, I've lost here. So it's like, yo, I got something to say. It's like, hey, let me help you.
And I think that experience and wisdom will help a lot of people. And it's helped just our core group in Passport, right?
Yeah.
So from the young guys we got, shout out to Lamar, Jamal, and Perez.
Yes, sir.
I think they get a lot. I get a lot as well out of our conversation, especially when you talk about your life and talk about business, and you have a special way of capturing people's ear, and it's definitely something that needs to get out there. Like we had a conversation, like, yo, you got a story to tell, man. You need to, you're motivational Mike for a reason, and that's the proper name. I'm glad I was happy to see you changed it to that on your IG because it's fitting, man. And I think a lot of people are gonna get a lot of wisdom and insight and great information from you. Yeah. And then as a collective, everyone that we have. We have a good group of guys, man, that just have different stories and backgrounds that are gonna, shock people, amaze people, especially when you see where people are now. Yeah. So.
And I know God was just using you. I don't even sometimes think you understand and know what he was doing in your life. You just thought it was, hey, I'm just opening up my gym.
Right.
But you actually saved some of our lives. Like, we all were going through big time problems. I mean, the whole world was to me. But, I mean, this became such a safe haven. I mean, it became something else. Mm-hmm. And me and you would have conversations, and I'd be like, Troy, something coming out of this. I said, I don't know yet what it is. I said, but there's something special coming out of this Passport. And I was like, I didn't know gym therapy was coming, but I just knew something special was coming out of it, because if people got to understand how this came to be, we would work out and we were making gains and having some success. But then after we worked out, we would sit here and start talking about life.
Right.
And that's where the, Fab Five came from. And, we every conversation was hitting one of those things.
Right.
Whether it be somebody going through something mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. Like, we end up, I mean, we've been in here talking about individual retirement accounts. You know what I mean? One night, the next night we're talking about therapy and why that's important and how that works. And, so like you said, what it's done for us, and we've had a lot of gentlemen come through here, but for some reason that we stuck, and it's literally changed out. And it's funny, it's 5 of us.
Five,
right?
yeah.
Five, right?
That, yep.
So it's like, it's changed I know it changed my whole existence.
Yeah.
And the fact that, I know you give me a lot of praise, but it's like, it's really turned into as though we all have our own roles and we bring something to the table,
right.
And I know me and you are a little older, so we've had more experiences and more wisdom. And I thank God for our, for the young guys that, actually are humble enough to take it in, and their lives are getting better, and they're able to have conversations and say, hey man, I got this from Mike and Troy. You just said it a couple times, Mike and Troy, so it's like, it's a blessing, because to me, that's where true legacy lies. It's the wisdom that you're going to leave.
True,
that somebody can say, I got that from Mike Miller, or I got that from Troy Lewis. So it's like, that to me makes my life worth living. So you say what I want to pass on, that wisdom. Yeah. Those things that are going to help people live better lives, continue to grow and learn. I've been on that a lot lately. You got me to read Chop Wood, Curry Water. I keep like Chop Wood, Curry Water. And I mean, that blessed me right there, because it talks about like in life, you keep evolving, you keep growing and learning. And I think that's where we lose it, because sometimes we get in our careers, we get in the things we do, and we think we're done. Right. We work hard for the week and we go home and watch the game on the weekends and drink a beer. You know, and hey, if that's good for you, that's fine. But you only get this one life. One life. You only get this one life. And I'm saying, like, why stop? Why not keep reaching new heights, new levels? Because, like I said, at the age we're at now, Troy was seeing them go out of here every day. And I'm like, I just want to be able to go out knowing this one don't owe me anything. I failed. I've won. I took risks.
Right, I lost.
I lost. You know what I mean? It's like you've experienced it all, because it's so quick, and it's like, I don't fear death because I lived. Right,
that's deep.
That right there. I don't know where that came from today, but that I don't fear death anymore. Because
Lamar gonna check the references.
Yeah, he will. Where you get that from?
All the references.
Right. Hey, if I got it from you, I'm sorry. I will quote you if you call me. Right. Yeah. But that's it, man. It's about living and growing, and just don't live in fear. Like, I thank God for giving me that. I just don't live in fear, bro. I've took a lot of risks. And like I said, it's helped me and it's caused me to have a lot of failures. But again, I don't regret any of it. Yeah. I don't regret any of it, because it's made me who I am. Absolutely. It's made me who I am, and sky's the limit. Like, I look at people like Steve Harvey and people that, this guy's 60 years old doing amazing things, 65 years old, still evolving. It's like, how you go from being a comedian to have a TV show to now you got Family Feud, talk show, radio show. I'm like, man, you get a book, then you get a movie. It's like, who said I gotta stop?
Sometimes our lives begin in our 40s, man.
Yes. And so, I mean, I look at, you look at some of these people back in the day, Thomas Jefferson and people, they were like professors, started a college, musicians, president of the United States. Right. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what? Everything. Yeah, I didn't know, they did so much. So we get caught up in, hey, I'm a doctor. No, that's what you're doing right now.
Yeah, that's not you.
That's not who you are.
Right.
You can be whoever you choose to be. So that's what I want people to understand. So it's like, I feel like I said, my motto is I got something to say.
Nice.
And I gotta, God can talk about that. Yo, motivation, it only goes so far. So yeah, I want to get you motivated, but then I want to give you the blueprint on what it takes to become disciplined and making it happen consistently.
That discipline is key.
That's it, man. It's just about doing it consistent. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's just like most people don't want to do that.
Right.
Yeah. True.
So my wrap up here with this, I like to get into some deep questions just to kind of tap more into the mind of Motivational Mike. So, mind if I get into that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So, one of the first questions I have is, would the child you were be proud of the man you are today?
Definitely. Because it's funny, that child in his mind was a man.
Right.
So I grew up so much. I grew up, and people always say, you're way ahead of your years. So he already thought he was a man. So to see the man I've grown to be, he would be like, Mike Miller, you all right with me. You taking care of your family. You rocking out. You making sure they good. And not only taking care of your family, but teaching them the lessons to not be that 5-year-old boy without a father. To be able to be there for mine, Kenesha, Mikey, and Mackenzie, that's everything to me.
Yeah.
So for them to have that example of what a real man looks like, my kids have seen me fail. They've seen me rock bottom. They've seen me overcome it.
It's part of being a man.
What the heck can't you overcome once you see your hero be able to overcome alcohol, overcome failure? Like my son was just like, he was at the gym. Remember I was telling you guys a story. He was just like, Daddy, I never knew we were broke.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you kept going to daycare. You kept, you never skipped a beat. And he was like, whoa, like you was going through all of that? Like, yeah. Yeah, but you just think we going to a new house. No, we just lost our house. Yeah, we outgrew that house, but nah, you go to a rented house, bruh. Yeah, we just lost our whole house. Bankruptcy. This is during the mortgage crisis. Our house, we paid $250 for it, down to $140. It was crazy times, but again, they've seen all of that. Right. And to see us overcome and come out of it, and thank God, God bless, we just was able to buy a house. And
congratulations on
that.
Thank
you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
so things
sir.
are happening. Like God always has you, but I had to go through those things for a reason. But for them to see the man I've become, that 5-year-old child, Mike Miller, they can be really proud.
Nice. What's your favorite excuse?
My favorite excuse. I don't give them.
Don't give them?
That's my mindset. I don't give them, so I don't take them. If I like the one you say, because I say that one too, charges in my head, not my heart.
Right.
It's like sometimes I made a mistake. Like, hey, I charged it to my head. I didn't mean to do it. But so if I said anything, it'd probably be that one.
All right.
Charge it to my head, not my heart.
Gotcha. Next one is this your very best?
No.
No? We still got more to come, bro. There's still more in store.
I just did that half marathon, bro.
How'd you feel after that?
It wasn't my best. I didn't prepare. Like Spartans that I've gone back and prepared for, I've completed.
Crushed them,
killed them. So it's just like, I know what I can do when I put my mind to it. When I really put my mind and the effort and put action behind it. I'm a person of action. Traveler's gift, Annie Andrews. So when I put action behind it and I'm focused, I know I'll get it done. It's just it's not if, it's when. It's a no-brainer for me. You know, that I even did alcohol great. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's the way I look. Like, yo, whatever I do, I'm gonna do it great. So I gotta go do another half marathon.
Right.
And I'm gonna prepare for it this time though, and knock it out.
Yeah.
You know? And hey, maybe the marathon next and the Ironman next, and who knows?
Oh man, here we go.
You get
Trying to
ready.
pull me in.
I always pull you in.
Just to kind of sidetrack, like that beast that we did in was it the beast? No, it was the super sprint that we did where you crushed that ape hanger.
Yeah.
Like, if people don't understand, and I'll get the video and try to post it to there, but the ape hangers where one, you're in water.
In water.
In water. You start off in water. You have to climb a rope.
That's wet.
That is wet. Up to some dangling, swinging monkey bars. Not like metal ones. It's metal pole, but it's like a rope. Like, almost think of like a ladder.
Yes.
Kind of like the agility ladders that you use, but with metal monkey bars in between.
Absolutely.
And it goes up, comes back down, and goes back up to a bell. And there's a video of Mike just killing that. Like, you're like, yo, how is he doing that? And there's people that's been doing Spartan races for years, many, many years. That
Still have
been
not
able to
completed
complete
that.
I failed on that one. That was like one of the ones I failed on. Was like,
Which Troy don't fail on, man.
man, that hurts now. I got to go back and catch that joint. But yeah, so just like, yo, that was big. And that's how I knew you're like, yo, Mike is on this shit right now because he crushed that. Like, it was just seeing the determination in you. It's like, the guy's thinking like, yo, just.
Yeah, when he said that, I was just like, he was like, don't go to the high one. You can just keep going.
Mike went to the high one.
I went to the high one, like, no.
You're not stopping me.
And that goes to mindset because I had no intention of completing that. Like,
Crushed it.
I knew that was one that I just in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna knock it out.
Right.
You know, and once I got halfway through it, I was like, oh, we knocking this out.
Oh yeah.
Knocking this out.
Shout out to Passport Training.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's definitely shout out because you had me doing the pull-ups. You had me working on the hangs, you know,
Grip strength,
which is
core work.
killing me. But people don't understand. It's like now, I mean, I feel like an athlete for real. You know, it's like you got me here training like an athlete. And you say that all the time. We're going to train like an athlete. And I'm like, yo, I really, you know, after doing this marathon to make it through 9 miles with no training, nonstop. I got to 9 miles. So it's like I know to knock that last 4 out. I train a little bit.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna knock it out. So it's like,
and you didn't even want to do it. Like, you were hoping that that Lamar would kind of be like, I was just
playing.
Yeah,
I ain't doing it.
Do it.
Yeah, because I told him I wouldn't sign up until he signed up.
Right.
Then when he signed up, I had to sign up.
Had to sign it.
Man of your word. Accountability. So I signed up, but I didn't. I underestimated it. I was comparing it to Spartan races. I'm like, it's just running. Like, how hard can it be? And it was.
It showed you.
It showed me. Oh, let me show you. Show you a trick. My stuff off you said. I'm gonna show you a trick. Show you a black trick. Yeah, and it definitely showed me. Yeah, you got to prepare.
Oh yeah.
And I'm excited for the next challenge. And that's the thing. If I could say anything, people like always be looking for your next challenge or your next thing. What is your next thing you're looking to accomplish? Or, you know, it's just like, again, what are you shooting for? Like, that's became my new thing. Like, it's all right, what's the next thing? So I'm focused on what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? Because I don't want to get complacent and I don't want to get comfortable.
Taps into your thing of, if you're not growing, you're dying.
You're dying. So it's like I live by that. So I constantly want to grow. I constantly want to grow. I constantly want to be better. But I feel like, yeah, you're either growing or dying.
Right.
You know, especially when I was drinking, I was looking at my face and it's ashy and I was looking older.
It's amazing what that stuff does to your body.
Oh my gosh.
Man.
And
when
I
you
was
come off of it,
skinny,
how different
but
you
it
look.
was just like, but it wasn't healthy looking. And it was just, you know, yeah. So it's just to look at me now and see how healthy I look, how healthy I feel. People saying you're aging backward. And it's like, I got all my levels taken in there, and it was just to all my enzyme levels, liver, everything's great.
Right, yeah.
So it's like God was keeping me the whole time. It didn't cause no, you know, damage
Right.
to that point, which other people they were getting their results and they were like crying and you know, it's just like, oh my gosh, I've messed up this, you know. Like you said, what it does to your body. So, but I know God allowed me to go through it through my decisions to help somebody.
Yeah.
And to humble me. Like to get me back focused on him.
That's key.
Because it's all about relationships. And it's like even having that relationship with God. Like sometimes we, just like anybody else, you know, you start taking a relationship for granted. You don't want to call them. You don't want to pray.
Right.
You ain't talking to me. Oh, you ain't talking to me? I feel like God be like that. Oh, we ain't talking today. I'm like,
okay.
Well, he just got in the bed. He ain't going to pray. You know? Oh, you ain't going to talk to me tonight. Oh, you going to talk to everybody all day, but you ain't going to talk to the one that's giving you the strength to get up tomorrow. All right, that's fine.
Got something for you.
Yeah, I got something for you. Yeah, go ahead.
Take a little this little humble pie.
Yeah, humble pie right here. So I just feel like, you know, God just started allowing me to go through to get back to him. And God, I'm back.
Right.
And I don't have any intentions on leaving.
Not at all.
Not at all. Because, I mean, with alcohol, like I said, it's daily. I have to face him daily. I have to ask for his grace daily. It's you can literally, you know, ride past a liquor store that day, but that's the day you want it.
Yep.
And see, that's what I'm saying. People like, hey, we don't want to tempt you can't tempt me. Do you know if I want to drink, I'm going to drink?
Right.
Like, that's the thing about alcohol. Like, people don't get it. Like, yo, there's absolutely nothing you can do if I choose to drink. I'm going to get it. Right. And I'm going to do it. And it'll be done. There's nothing you can do about that.
Right.
So whether you know, people like, I know people was just trying to help, you know, it's like, have your drink in front of me. You know, it's like, I'm good now. You know, early on, I had some reservations, you know, maybe I didn't go to this party or maybe I didn't go to this person's house or, you know, till I was comfortable. You know, me and my wife had to have exit strategies. You know, like if I start feeling some type of way, here's the nod.
All right,
y'all, we'll see y'all in the next, you know. And every time I went, we were good.
Did you find those to be kind of test of your will with everything? Like in certain circumstances, or were you?
See, that's where I try not to start relying on me, but at the same time, you know, it's like God gave me the strength, you know. So it's like it's a constant battle. So it's like my will is crazy. You know, you saw that I did a whole race drunk. So it's like my will, but I gotta make sure I constantly remind myself to give it back to God first. Like, let's start there.
Right.
God, here we go. I need you today, right now. You know, but then it's like, yeah, my will is crazy. Like, yo, I'm gonna fight that thing, because that's what I'm saying. It's a daily fight. So I'm gonna fight with everything in me to continue to conquer this thing.
Yeah. All right. I think I know the answer to this one. Which is worse, failing or never trying?
I
already know.
You know what that is. Yeah. Got to fail. I love failing. Fail fast and fail forward. You know my motto. So it's like, never trying though. So many things I've done over the last couple of years. You know, fraternity, this, that, and there's a lot of things we've done. I'm just like, hey, I'm not going to leave this earth and never had done that.
Right.
When I got the opportunity. So, you know, so definitely fail.
Yep. All right, a few more. Do you take the advice of your fears?
Take the advice of your fears. No, I'm not listening to that guy. It's false evidence appearing real. It's just not real. So why would I'm not signing up for that. Like, yo, I'm not listening to you. Do he talk to me? Do he try to, you know, I feel like the enemy, Satan, he's a tempter. That's what God gave him his power. He's a tempter. So I'm going to make things look away. You know, I'm going to make it look away and I'm going to tempt you to make you think this is real. Right. You know, but in actuality, it's not. And just face it and go through it. And even if you're not successful, it's like, yo, get up tomorrow. It's a new day. Like you said, take it one day at a time. That's what life. So it's like, yo, I'm not believing what you're telling me that, not, you know. And it's like, yeah, you're going to have certain fears, but just overcome them.
Right.
Face them. Deal with them.
Face those fears.
Face them. Yeah. Face them. And it's like the faster you face them, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Come on, shorty.
I see. Which one regret you don't want to have, if you have any? Or you on your jigger stuff?
Yeah. He said you gotta learn to live with regret.
Learn to live with regrets.
Yeah. Say it again. Is it one that I have?
Yeah. What's one regret you don't want to have? I mean, the way it's phrased, it may not even mean that you've actually had the regret, but what's one regret you don't want to have? I guess, I don't know. If you have any.
I've started to overcome them, you know, so if I had this one regret, that I wasn't a great husband and father.
Like that.
Yeah. Just that simple. Like, I write that goal every day. I'm a great husband and father for my household. Mm-hmm. So if I had one regret, it would be that the alcohol won and my family suffered and we just like dissolved.
So I was thinking about the alcohol piece.
Yeah. So that's the regret. If I didn't overcome it and my son and my daughter had to watch me dissolve to nothing or become something. I have family members that they can't shake it. They haven't shaken it yet.
Right.
And I look at the way they look and their lifestyle and I'm just like, yo, that could be me, you know? And even when I was in the detox, like I was seeing people that had been there over and over again, like talking about this your fifth time in here and you talking about regret, like, yo, if I had to go back. Now, if I needed to go back, I'm going to get the help.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But, yo, I don't want to keep putting my kids and my wife through this. Yeah, so you talking about regret. That would be the biggest one. That I write, I am a great husband and father. If you're not writing goals, please, ladies and gentlemen, make that a part of what you do. Do it daily.
Every morning.
Every morning. So that would be, you know, so I'm seeing that every day, you know, so that would be one of the biggest regrets that I allowed myself to be taken over and not depending on God and getting grace from God to let alcohol win. Yeah. And my family suffered because they were suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's key. And the kind of touch back on the goals piece, like the goals is very critical. I think it's critical to do every day.
Yes.
Like I'd recommend, if you don't have just a notebook, one I've used is called the 5-minute journal. And what it does, it takes you through, you write down 3 things you're grateful for. So this is first thing in the morning. What are 3 things you're grateful for? So it's starting you off in a spirit of gratitude as opposed to being reactionary and checking your phone and seeing what messages, who texted you last night or whatever went on with the game.
Right.
But starting off your life in just a great gratefulness manner. Yeah. And then you write down what your 3 goals are for the day, 3+ goals. Yeah. And then you write down an affirmation for that day.
That's great. And it's so funny. I do the same thing. I have a journal, so I write my grateful things in my journal every day. I'm really, at this point in my life, I'm really thankful every day I wake up. Yeah. I am grateful and thankful. Like, I write that every day.
That's what I'm saying. Another
waking
day.
The fact that I opened my eyes today, I am like, at 43, like, I am so thankful and grateful.
Yeah, that's my first one every morning.
Yeah,
Another waking day.
Another waking day. God, I thank you for this one. So it's like, yo, I get another day to enjoy. You know? Like, at this point, business is great. Life is great. Troy, I feel like I'm living a dream.
Yeah, you are, man.
You know, it's just like overcome alcohol. It's just like, I feel like, and the fear is once you start getting success, it's like your anxiety try to come back in because it's like, I'm waiting for the fall because I've had so many of that. You know, so many of the fall. So it's like, but I heard someone say one time, it's like, you're going to have different obstacles once you get to new levels, but you may not never fall back to this. Right. So I'm not going to come back down here. It's like you're here and you just, you know, you go up and you come. Yeah. So it's like, but you'll never hit this again in life. So it's like, thankful for that. The where we are.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Nice. All right. I'll get two more, man, and then we can wrap this up. So when was the last time you said, wow, I can't believe I did that?
Sheesh. When I finished the Beast race by myself.
Oh, yeah. That solo joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like I was so determined. That was such a big achievement for me.
Yeah, to go back and do the one that you missed.
Yeah, it was the one I missed October 2nd of last year this time. I was checking in and I was like, you know what? I want to go back. So you talk about regret. That would have been a regret for me.
Right.
So it was like, I said, I got to go finish this. Like, I want to complete this one.
Right.
You know, for the symbolism of it, you know, and I prepared. You prepared me well. I was ready. I was grinding. And to know now, to see what I'm able to do without alcohol in my system, what changes are happening in me physically, to be able to, you know, this time you had me really focusing on doing pull-ups, you know, even on my own time. So you were like, you're getting the pull-ups, you know, and I started with, what, 3?
3.
And then I worked to 5, and then I went to 10, and then I went to 15. So it's like to see the progression and that I've really trained hard to get to those levels and to go up there by myself, like, all right. And it's the person that's always been there for me, was right by my side. You know, she dropped me off and went to the mall. But but I love her for it.
She let me know she is not doing any Spartan races.
Yes,
She's like, that's not on my
not
list.
happening. It's
Y'all
not
have fun.
Yeah.
It's more power
out.
to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said, I'll come to Troy, I'll come to Passport. But I'm not doing the Spartans. And I'm good with that.
Yeah.
She works out every day.
Crystal's amazing, man.
Yeah, she wasn't working out at all. So to see her progression, she's fasting now, intermittent fasting and eating right. And she looks great. She's in great shape. She comes to Passport. She goes to the gym. Like, I'm so proud of her. It's just like, but again, that's a direct reflection of, I think, you know, when you're in your household as a man, you know, you set the tone and you set, you know, your visions and and people, you know, your wife and they follow what's going on. So it's great to see, man. It's great to see, like, you know, and again, it's like, I never want to portray like we're perfect. It's just that we're growing. You know, we're growing. And we've had a lot of failure. Like, people understand, like, you have a lot of bad years. It's like, yo, you take pride in some of them good ones. You know, it's like, all right. It's like, we enjoy them. Like, okay, I'm enjoying life right now because, yo, I've had some bad years.
Right.
Like, so, yeah, it's like, you might not have known because I'm not going to show everything I'm going through. You know, you keep going, you keep striving, you keep fighting to be better. And it's like, hit the bottom and you get up and you dust yourself off, you keep it moving.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Last one. I know you can probably ride this one out a little bit. Pause. What are you amazingly good at? Just snuck up on me.
Amazingly good at.
You're like, where you want me to start?
Likability.
Likability. Okay.
Making people feel good about themselves.
Definitely have a gift to that, man. Yeah.
You know, it's like, I know I can, I got this from John Maxwell. Within 20 seconds or 10 seconds, he said something like that, you find a way you can compliment people. And it's like he said it's like a magnetism. It's like a pheromone. And everybody doesn't have it nor strive to become that person.
Right.
That leadership, that it's like electromagnetic. Like it's magic, he called it. Magic. Where you get people caught up in your wrath. People get caught up in your wrath and they don't even know they're in.
Right.
It's like, and it's like, again, sometimes you can't say certain things to people because they think you're just being such a,
Right.
he's so cocky. It's like, nah, it's
Who does he think
study.
he
You
is?
grow yourself
Right.
and you design yourself to become that type of person that people like to be around, that people enjoy your company, that people, I work even on my humor.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I worked on all of those things to become the Michael Miller that people see, and love. And it's like, I really work to that. Because it's like you get people to like you, trust you, to want to work with you. It's like people genuinely say, yo, that's a good guy. I love that.
Yeah.
People say, oh, Mike, that's a good guy. We had Dot, like he was, word on the street, people, every time I say, like, oh, Mike Miller, that's a good guy.
Yeah.
I know he's a good guy. And I take pride in that. I love that. To hear people say, yo, he's a good guy. Like, you got something to say negative about that dude, something wrong with you. It's like, what did he do? So it's like, nah, my goal is always to help the next man, enjoy this life, be the best me I can be, and go out here and grind and get it done. And help people to do it.
That's the key.
And help people to do it. So that's it. It's like that magic.
Yeah. Magic Mike. Magic
Magic
Minds.
Minds, Magic Mike.
Everything.
You know what I mean? Motivational Mike. We all in here.
So we'll wrap it up there because I know that everyone will get an opportunity to kind of hear more about you and just your wisdom
definitely.
and just
the start.
what we're bringing with gym therapy.
Yeah.
And so, man, we always got to have Mike take it away with some type of motivation to kind of take us off. So I'm gonna leave it to you to lead the people with some words, man. Floor is yours. And if you want, the camera's right there. If you want to look them right in the eyes.
What I would say is understand that a lot of us have addictions, whether it be food, whether it be alcohol, whether it be social media, weed, drugs, opiates. It's so many things. And what I would say to you today, ladies and gentlemen, is to face the fear and have enough oomph to say, I am addicted to this. And get help. Do the work. We're not perfect. And I hit a place where as though I finally admitted I needed help. And I admitted I had a problem. And I was freed. I had never cried the way I cried as a man to admit on this podcast that I sobbed like a baby the second I was in that meeting in that detox facility, admitting that I am addicted to alcohol. And it was like a rush of water that just like cleansed my whole soul. And I've never been the same since. So if I could say anything to you, don't be afraid of acceptance. Because in acceptance lies freedom. I am free today because I was man enough to accept that I had a problem and I needed some help. We all do. And y'all have been these people say, do the work. So once I accepted that I had a problem, I was then able to start working to solve the problem, to come up with solutions, to deal with my addiction. So I've been talking to so many people since I admitted I had a problem, and I'm realizing most of us do. So I implore to you today, admit. Let's admit our addictions, ladies and gentlemen. Get help and do the work. And I'll see you at the top.
There it is. guy. We out.
We out. We out.
Sheesh. Yes, sir.